Mia Alvarez was running on fumes, both physically and emotionally. She had just finished a grueling 8-hour shift at the small cafe where she worked evenings after her morning classes. Her sneakers were worn thin, her backpack strap was fraying, and her hair was pulled into a messy bun that had survived 3 shifts and exactly 0 hours of sleep. Her final exam for the semester was in less than an hour, and the exam center was across town. Public buses were slow at this hour, so she reluctantly used the last of her weekly budget to book the cheapest Uber she could find. Her phone battery flashed at 2%, screen dimming as she hurried outside the cafe. The street was unusually quiet, the air cool against her cheeks. As she stepped onto the curb, she spotted a sleek black sedan parked a few feet away. It was an expensive car, far nicer than any Uber she had ever ridden in, but she didn't have the luxury to overthink. Exhaustion blurred her judgment, and the app had indicated that her ride was arriving any second. She glanced once at the license plate but didn't process the mismatch. Without hesitation, she jogged to the passenger side, pulled the handle, and slid into the back seat. "Thank you so much," she exhaled, placing her bag beside her. "I really appreciate you coming so quickly. I'm running late for my exam." She didn't look up. She was too busy trying to keep her phone alive long enough to confirm the next stop. The driver didn't speak immediately, which she chalked up to professionalism. She buckled her seatbelt and let out a tired sigh. In the driver's seat sat Adrian Cole, a billionaire CEO whose face appeared in business magazines, but rarely on social media. He had been visiting one of his company's community housing projects in disguise, no suit, no driver, no assistance. He often did that to see things as they truly were, not how people wanted him to see them. He was taking a quiet moment in his car, reviewing documents, when Mia suddenly jumped in. Adrian blinked, startled but strangely amused. He turned slightly in his seat and studied her through the rearview mirror. She looked half asleep, clearly unaware of her mistake. She spoke with such casual familiarity that it caught him off guard. Before he could say anything, her phone died with a small beep. She stared at the blank screen and groaned. "Of course," she muttered under her breath. Adrian could have corrected her right then. He could have told her she was in the wrong car. But something about the situation, her exhaustion, her urgency, and perhaps the unfiltered confidence with which she'd entered, made him pause. Instead of asking her to leave, he asked calmly, "Where do you need to go?" Mia's eyes widened as she finally glanced up at the driver. The man behind the wheel exuded an aura of authority and confidence. His tailored suit, even though slightly disheveled from a long day, contrasted sharply with the casual black sedan she had assumed was an Uber. For a brief moment, panic flared. Had she gotten into the wrong car? But before she could speak, he asked in a calm, measured voice, "Where are we headed?" Mia hesitated, her cheeks burning. I'm going to, the Midtown Exam Center," she stammered, fumbling for her phone, which had just died in her hand. The reality of the situation hit her. She had no way to confirm the ride, no way to contact the Uber driver, and nowhere to go except forward. She swallowed her embarrassment and muttered, I think I got into the wrong car." The man's eyes, sharp yet kind, met hers through the rearview mirror. He didn't scold her or express irritation, nor did he ask her to leave immediately. Instead, there was a brief smile, almost amused, as if he understood the absurdity of the situation. "It seems so," he said lightly. "But your destination is on my way. Hop in. I'll get you there." Mia blinked, unsure whether to be relieved or mortified. Part of her screamed that she should run, apologize profusely, and never make eye contact again. But the exhaustion in her limbs and the urgency of her exam left her no choice. Hesitantly, she nodded and sank back into the leather seat, gripping her backpack tightly. As the car glided smoothly into traffic, Adrian couldn't resist a small joke. "You seem in quite a hurry." "Exams?" he asked. His voice had a warmth that contradicted the intimidating first impression. Mia, still thinking of him as a remarkably polite Uber driver, nodded. Yes, my final exam for the semester. I'm already late, and I can't afford another delay. The ride began to feel surreal. Adrian asked simple, casual questions: what she studied, where she worked, how she managed her busy life. Mia, exhausted and candid, spoke without pretense, revealing the struggles of juggling school, work, and family responsibilities. She spoke of long nights studying after exhausting shifts, the financial strain, and the dreams she nurtured despite constant setbacks. Adrian listened quietly, genuinely intrigued. He noticed the determination in her eyes, the way she refused to complain despite her hardships. By the time the city lights reflected off the car windows, what had started as an awkward mistake was slowly turning into a profound, unexpected human connection. Mia didn't yet know that she had entered the car of a billionaire CEO, someone whose world was entirely different from hers, but Adrian, observing her resilience and honesty, realized this chance encounter might be far more significant than either of them imagined. As the black sedan smoothly navigated the busy city streets, Mia gradually relaxed, thinking of Adrian simply as a kind driver who had gone out of his way to help her. She slouched back in the seat, exhausted, and for the first time in days, allowed herself to talk freely. It's been a really hard semester, she admitted, her voice low but earnest. I work 2 jobs just to cover tuition and rent. Some nights I barely sleep, and still, I worry I won't make it. Adrian glanced at her through the rearview mirror. There was no judgment in his eyes, only genuine curiosity. He noticed the sincerity in her words, the faint tremor of fatigue, and the quiet determination that seemed to radiate from her even in her worn-out state. And what keeps you going? He asked softly. Mia hesitated for a moment, unsure if she should open up to a stranger. But something about his calm, attentive presence made it feel safe. Dreams, she whispered. I want to start my own small business someday, a community cafe that also provides job training for students like me. I know it sounds impossible, but I can't give up on it. Her honesty caught Adrian off guard. He had met countless people, some wealthy, some not, but few spoke with such raw authenticity about their struggles and aspirations. Most people presented a polished version of themselves, hiding fear and doubt. Mia was different, her vulnerability was paired with unwavering resolve, and it left a lasting impression on him. He asked more questions, genuinely interested, not just out of curiosity but out of admiration. She described the people in her neighborhood, the lack of opportunities, the difficulty of balancing work and education. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke of her dream cafe, the kind of place she wanted to create, where people could learn skills, find support, and feel inspired. By the time the car approached her exam center, Adrian realized that this brief ride was no ordinary encounter. Mia's story resonated with him on a deeper level. It reminded him of the values he had wanted to uphold in his own life and career but often got buried under wealth, responsibilities, and expectations. As they pulled up to the exam center, Mia's phone still dead, she finally noticed the car's insignia. Her jaw dropped. Wait, you're not my Uber, she stammered, looking at him in disbelief. Adrian chuckled softly, shaking his head. No, I'm not, he admitted. But I thought it was important to get you here safely. Consider it a detour for fate. In that moment, Mia's embarrassment mingled with awe. What had started as a mistaken ride had transformed into a meaningful connection, one that would unexpectedly shape both their lives. A simple conversation had revealed character, dreams, and possibilities that neither of them could have anticipated. Mia's heart raced as she stepped out of the sleek black car. Her cheeks burned red with embarrassment. She had just realized that she wasn't in an Uber but in the personal vehicle of Adrian Cole, a billionaire CEO she had only seen in magazines and on business news. She stammered, fumbling for words. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Adrian raised a hand, smiling gently, stopping her apology mid-sentence. Hey, it's okay, he said. Mistakes happen. Honestly, I'm glad I met you this way. Mia's mouth opened to respond, but he continued, "Good luck on your exam. I believe you'll do great." With that, he handed her a card and drove off, leaving her standing in awe. She watched the car disappear and felt a strange mixture of mortification and curiosity. Who was this man? And why had he been so kind, so unassuming, and so attentive to her story? A few days later, as Mia returned home from her part-time job, she noticed an envelope sitting on her small apartment table. Her name was written in elegant, unfamiliar handwriting. With trembling hands, she opened it. Inside was a letter from Adrian Cole's company, inviting her to a personal meeting. She blinked several times, thinking it must be a mistake. The meeting was held at one of Adrian's offices, a modern, minimalist space filled with natural light and the faint scent of fresh coffee. She was nervous but determined, clutching the envelope and rehearsing her introduction in her mind. When Adrian appeared, he greeted her warmly, no trace of the intimidating business persona she had imagined. "Mia, I'm glad you came," he said. He explained that her honesty, determination, and vision for helping her community had left a deep impression on him. He saw potential in her business ideas and wanted to offer her an internship and mentorship program to help her develop her skills and bring her dream cafe to life. Mia was stunned. Her chance encounter, which had begun with a mortifying mistake, had turned into an unprecedented opportunity. As she walked out of the office later that day, a new sense of hope surged within her. She realized that life had a strange way of rewarding courage, sincerity, and hard work, even when wrapped in moments of chaos and embarrassment. The man who could have been judgmental instead became a mentor and supporter, and her confidence grew with the knowledge that her dreams were no longer just distant fantasies. From the mistaken car ride to this unexpected opportunity, Mia's life was beginning to change in ways she never imagined. And deep down, she felt an unspoken connection with Adrian, a bond that went beyond business, hinting at something more personal and profound waiting to unfold. In the weeks and months following that fateful car ride, Mia's life began to transform. The internship with Adrian Cole's company gave her not only professional exposure but also the confidence to pursue her dreams with renewed determination. She learned how to draft business plans, manage budgets, and network effectively, all skills she had only read about before. Through it all, Adrian remained a steady presence, offering guidance without ever being overbearing. At first, their interactions were purely professional. Adrian admired Mia's relentless work ethic and authenticity, while she respected his humility despite his wealth and influence. Meetings that started with serious discussions about business strategies often ended with laughter and personal anecdotes, as Mia's wit and warmth began to soften Adrian's reserved nature. He found himself looking forward to their conversations, cherishing the rare moments when he could simply listen to someone speak from the heart without pretense. Mia, on the other hand, was drawn to Adrian's kindness and the way he genuinely valued her opinions. She had expected him to be distant, even intimidating, but he had treated her as an equal, someone whose dreams were worth investing in. His attention wasn't patronizing, it was a reflection of his own values and appreciation for her courage. Slowly, admiration grew into a deeper connection, an unspoken bond that neither could ignore. One evening, after a particularly long day at a community workshop they had organized together, Adrian walked Mia to her car. The city lights reflected in his eyes as he spoke softly, "You know, I've met a lot of people, but I've never met anyone like you." Mia smiled, her heart fluttering. She realized that the respect and gratitude she had initially felt for him had blossomed into something far more profound, an affection that was mutual, though neither had yet named it. Over time, small gestures, coffee shared during early mornings, texts checking in on late-night study sessions, spontaneous encouragements, wove a pattern of intimacy between them. Their bond deepened, moving beyond mentor and mentor partners in both vision and life. The chance encounter in a mistaken car ride had become the seed of a relationship built on trust, admiration, and genuine love. Eventually, Adrian confessed his feelings, and Mia admitted hers. What had started as an embarrassing misunderstanding had transformed into a beautiful, life-changing romance. Through fate, courage, and authenticity, Mia and Adrian discovered that love often appears in the most unexpected ways, and that sometimes, the wrong car can lead you to exactly the right person.